show you how then you can take this sculpted mesh, which is kind of very dense, into a low poly mesh. So you can see here, for example, this mesh here, I'm just going to my layout mode and edit mode. It has 242,406 faces, right? So we don't want to put that in a game. So how do we bake this and bake this as a texture to apply to our low poly mesh? So we're going to bake a normal map, and I just show you how to do that now. So let's hide this one. I've got my high poly mesh here, and I'm going to just create, I forgot to create one, make a copy of this one before I remeshed, so I'm just going to create a new cube here, new mesh, cube, and let me put this back to 0, so it's in the center. Okay, so that cube there, I'm just going to go to my top view and my side view. That's my X-ray on. I just want to make sure it's in the right size. See, I have here distance. So if I had a copy of that one, would, after my extrusion with my brush, I would have something like that. I'm going to leave it like that so I can show you how you can see that distance there on your low poly mesh, how to set this up, right? Okay, so we have now a cube, which I'm going to call it low poly. Okay, and now what I need to do is to lay out UV. So of course this is a cube, our UV is good, but I want to only UV. Let me hide the other one. So this was the high poly. I'm just gonna hide for now. I want to apply that texture just on my top one, and so I want to get as much resolution as possible with my top face. So I'll make this face here larger. Let me just put all the others here. If I click here, you can see all your other UVs. I want this face to be larger than the others, so I'm just going to put this aside because I'm really not applying any texture to this one, so it doesn't matter the size of it. Oh, sorry, scale. So I'm going to scale this down and just move it, put it somewhere here, and I'll make this one bigger, scale, make it kind of a large, as large as possible. Maybe I take this one, select those, put it there, and this one scale more, so okay, that would do. So this is going to be the face where I'm going to bake my normal map. That is sorted. The next thing I need to do is to apply a materials. Go back to my layout mode, turn off my... I'm going to apply a material to this tile. So I'm going to create a new material. So tile, normal, material I'm going to call. So yeah, and for that I apply that. So I'm coming here to my shading tab, and this is my material. So as it's a normal map, I need to do two things. I need to first set this up so I can see, I can bake my normal map. First I need a normal map mode, and I need an image texture to bake my texture onto. Image texture, there. Connect the color, connect the color here and connect my normal to a normal node. And here I'm going to create a new image, which is the one that's going to be baked. So I'm going to call it normal tile. And I'm going to do a 2K map, 2048 by 2048. Okay. Here is where I want to see my image when it's baked. So I'll come here and see which image, normal tile. So that's the one that is going to appear here. It's black at the moment because there's nothing. It's just a new image. We're going to use this to bake our normal. Right, what else do we need to do? I think we're okay. So I need to bring up my high poly back. Yeah, so that's my high poly. And as I said, let's go back to my layout here. And if you press 3 for your orthographic view and come closer, and you can see here, so this is my low poly and this is the high poly. This is how much we extruded with our brush. Yeah, so we can actually measure this because we're going to need that. So measure this with the ruler here. You can just measure. So I know that the distance is kind of 0.22 approximately, 0.22. So keep that number in mind. And now we're going to go and do baking. So I'm going to come to my render settings. First thing I need to set up is we need to render with cycles, so not Eve, cycles. Come down here onto our bake options, and let's say first we're going to bake type, we want to bake a normal map, so we put normal here. It's important that we say select to active, so we're going to select both. There is an order. I've found that many times you select first the high poly and the low poly, but there are times that I have, for some reason, and I don't know what it is, that I have, it's the other way around. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna try both. Okay, bake, and then select to active, and here where it says the max ray distance, just keep it 0, and extrusion is that number there, 0.021. I'm going to put 0.02 because you need to be able to capture that information that it's above your low poly, which is how much you extruded here. So yeah, I think that is what we need. Right, so I'm going to try to select the high poly and the low poly. Shift, yeah, select, shift. We just get rid of this other two here. I'm just going to create a new collection. This is the other one. I'm just going to get out of the way here. I don't want to see those two. So high poly, low poly, and then press bake. It says no active UV. So in many cases, it's the other way around now. So low poly and high poly, because we have the UV. So try now and bake. It's now baking. As you can see down here, it shows you the baking. It will take a few minutes, but it should be done soon. Probably it's going to stop the video and I'll come back once that is done. So the baking is now done. and I made a mistake here. If I turn off the high poly, I can see my low poly, but that doesn't look very good because I didn't put as a non-color texture. So I'm just going to redo this bit. So let me just disconnect this. Could add a new image texture. Normal. I could use the same one, but I just so you can see here. I can show you the difference. Normal tile 2. Okay, and I have to put here that it's a non-color because it's a normal map. We don't want any color information. Let me do it the baking again. So I need to bring that on in. Low poly, high poly. And here in my render settings, go down to bake, and everything else is the same. Bake. It's baked, as you can see here. Here you go. And then if I turn off my high poly, you can see now let's actually move my high poly. G. Yeah, bring this down for a moment, and you can see now this is my low poly. If you get, I actually changed here the extrusion. I gave a little bit more. I increased the number because I was getting too many yellows. You want your normal map to be mostly purple, so I did increase this number here at 0.3, and it gave me a better normal map, as you can see here. So now I can come to this object now, and that's my normal there, and it's only 6 tiles, six faces. Yeah. Then I apply that, and then you can continue to apply different objects, textures. Just come up here. Ugh. And I can add a color ramp. You can add textures that you have, but I'm just going to add a color ramp to show you. Let's make it kind of brownish, going to something like that, those two colors, and you know, and then you can add roughness. You can I can increase my roughness because I don't want it to be reflective. Yeah, or maybe a little bit. Add a bit of occlusion, whatever, like you continue your texturing process. So that's it for this video. You learn how to bake your sculpted tile. Please watch my other video on how I did this. I'm going to put a link in the description, and then you can watch that video, so how to sculpt the tile. And then now you baked to a low poly mesh. So we have here, if you come back to layout here, the high poly mesh is got 242,000 faces, and the low poly mesh has got 6, and they look pretty much the same. Yeah. Ready to export and import to your game engine.